Okay, scholars, this slide and this video are going to talk about what to do when in parentheses on your slide you have a whole number and then a fraction, and you are multiplying the two together. So you need to follow the rules for multiplying fractions, and they are on the left-hand side of this slide. They say multiply numerators, the top numbers, across, write the product as a numerator in your answer. Then multiply the denominators, those are the bottom numbers, across, and write product as a denominator in your answer. Here's a little tip. When you have a whole number times a fraction, turn the whole number into a fraction by placing the number over 1. For example, like we have here, we're going to take 5, which is our whole number, and we're going to put it over 1. When I do that, I can write my multiplication problem out, and then I can solve. So, following the rules, from left to right, 5 times 1 equals 5. That becomes the numerator in my answer. Then I multiply the denominators across. 1 times 2 equals 2. Here is what I got for an answer. So we're going to work with this. I don't like it because it's an improper fraction, but it's good for right now. We're going to work with it. So the first thing I need to do with this answer is write it in decimal form. So how do I make this fraction into a decimal? Well, if you have a calculator nearby or on your computer, you can just plug in 5 divided by 2, because this division bar actually this fraction bar, represents division. So in your calculator, you could plug in 5 divided by 2, and you should get an answer of 2.5. So there is your decimal form of that answer. Now the next one says to write it in fraction form. Well, we have a fraction here, right? But this is an improper fraction. When the numerator is larger than the denominator, that's called improper fraction. We don't like that in math. We want it to be a mixed number, which means a whole number in front and a fraction that follows. So if I look over here, I can see that there's a 2 in the whole number place value. So I could write the 2 out in front for my whole number in my fraction, and then 0.5. So if I put a 0 after this and thought of it in fraction form over 100, that would be 50 over 100. When I reduce that down, divide 50 on the top and the bottom, I would end up with 1/2. So 0.5 is the same as 1/2. So now I can put 2.5 is the same as 2 and 1/2. That is the fraction form. So now my next part of my slide, I would have to write this answer as a percent. So to make this decimal number here into a percent, I move the decimal 2 places to the right. 1, 2. I would fill in a 0 here and write it as a whole number. So I would have 250. Don't forget your percent sign. 2.5 or 2.5 as a percent is 250%. And then last, I need to write it out in words. I prefer to write it out in words using the fraction form. So I would write 2 and 1/2. Okay, so let's just say on one of your slides, these numbers are flipped around. So you have 1/2 first and then 5 after. You can do the same operation, the same rules, even though the numbers are going to be flipped around. Multiplication allows you to do that. Remember, this problem is just an example. This is not the answer for your slides. It's an example to help you work your way through your slide on your own.